Hello? 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 Hello, 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 hello. Gosh, everybody, I meant to start like 15 minutes ago. Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? I'm just going to end the song right there, right at the beginning. What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's July 4th, 2022. What's up? Otherwise known as Independence Day. In the United States of America, it is Independence Day. To celebrate our independence from, the previous overlords. Basically the same people, right? It's like the same people, Anyhow, moving on. I titled the stream, is this like the Will Smith version of Independence Day? That's kind of what it's boiling down to. You know what I mean? Around here, we've rolled back the clock. We're back in times of alien takeover of the planet. Lizard people, man. We're just living in the lizard people times, So we're back in it. And, yeah. So that's what's going on Independence Day. I've been pleasantly reminded throughout this entire extravaganza of the ongoing nonsense out here. Let me download this. Hold on, I gotta open original. Save image. Oh no, don't do that. I have to do the open original to save it properly. There we go. Now I can save image. Save image as an image. There we go. That was the image I forgot to download. Was this one that I was going to talk about? Because I was going to start the show 15 minutes ago. And to those of you out there that have kids, do you know what it's like when your daughter says all of a sudden, I have got to go poop. And you go, oh, okay, I'll come with you. No, I am going to go poop by myself. So, yeah, then I was like, okay, word. Then you need to give your old dad over here a shout out when you're done. And lo and behold, she gave me a shout out when she was done. So I had to go over there and clean her up and wash her hands and do all that. And then we had a princess emergency. I don't know if you guys are familiar with having a daughter, but princess emergencies come up. They do. They really do. They arise out of the ether. They just seemingly didn't exist previous to that. And the issue we were having was her princess shoes are missing, guys. Okay? And they weren't missing. They were put away. They were put away where they're supposed to go. And, yeah, they were put away where they were supposed to go. And she only had taken out one of them. So she only had one of her princess shoes, which are these ridiculous pink, like, plastic. They're, like, large enough to fit a child's foot, but they look like Barbie shoes. I don't know where she got them from. I'm sure there were some free toy exchange thing or something that Vicky had done, and they showed up, and then she couldn't find one of them, so then we had a princess emergency, so she had to poop, had to clean her up, wash her hands, then, oh my gosh, we can't find the shoe, we're going to have a mental breakdown, we're going to start crying because we can't find our shoe, and all that kind of stuff, which leads me to go, hey, I got to do dad stuff, because it's the 4th of July, so daycare's not open, right? And so we're doing the daddy-daughter, taking care of the daughter thing. And then, yeah. So, it is what it is, baby. You know, I got to take care of my kids. My kid. I only have one kid. So, yeah. But it reminds me of this tweet from just yesterday from Stone Kettle. It says, I don't know what fireworks cost nowadays, but apparently they're cheap enough that all of my dirt poor redneck neighbors who can't afford gas, let's go Brandon, can't buy enough or can buy enough to spend 3 days exploding them into the sky for 8 hours every night. That is this precisely this hits my this tweet right here hits my sentiment like exactly, hands down. I'm like, you know what? I don't get it. I guess maybe I'm old, or maybe I'm one of two things. Maybe I'm either too smart or too stupid or something. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I'm too mediocre to be like, I don't understand, where I see people older than myself up at 1 o'clock in the morning lighting off fireworks, going crazy in the street, losing their minds. It's illegal where I live, so I don't even know why they're doing it. But it's outwardly annoying. I mean, I will just tell you guys, it's straight up become annoying at this point. You know, because 4th of July landing on a Monday apparently means fireworks on Wednesday, fireworks on Thursday, fireworks on Friday, fireworks on Saturday, fireworks on Sunday. I'm sure there'll be fireworks tonight, you know, and then probably all through next week too. Will probably be, you know, people's backyards on fire, all sorts of nonsense for the next whatever. And like, I get that people like lighting off fireworks. It is fun. Like, I understand the fun part of it. I get it. It's exciting. It's kind of fun. The thing that I don't get is how it spills into a whole week of the spending money. And I literally last night was I actually said it out loud to Vicky. I go, somebody was out there like blowing up something. And I go like, there goes $5. You know, the kaboom. Oh, there's $5. Kaboom. There's $5. Oh, boom. But boom, boom. Oh, $10. Yeah. So I just legit was just like, I mean, with the dog having panic attacks, you know, having to sedate the dog for a week, it just does not, it don't feel right. You know what I mean? Just a feeling. And maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, and I'm sure I'm wrong again. Maybe it's really just great for the environment and everything to light off fireworks. Maybe there'll be a scientific study to find out if, yeah. Joel G says, I was a super independent kid. She will end up being able to pay the rent. To be brutally honest with you guys, my goal for, my and Vicky's goal for Olivia is that she won't have to pay rent. That's my goal. That's my goal. My goal is for Olivia to not have to pay rent. So, I think the plan with that is to continue to move every 5 to 7 years. That's probably what we're going to continue to do. I think we're going to continue to do that. So we could continue to build whatever it is that we're trying to build here, but we want to be in a position when our kid is grown up that they don't have to pay rent. I never had the opportunity to just go to school. I never had that opportunity. That was not an opportunity that was availed to me. I've mentioned this many times before on the stream. I had issues growing up, which I don't need to delve into on here, but I was far from poor. Like, I certainly wasn't dirt poor. My parents worked really hard to make sure that wasn't the case. I don't have fancy parents. My dad was a janitor. My mom was an ER nurse. I don't have fancy parents or anything like that. But I definitely had a roof over my head. I had food. I had all that kind of stuff. We had transportation. We got to take vacations and things like that. My goal for Olivia is for her to be unencumbered and be able to, maybe she wants to go to welding school. Maybe she wants to go to learn to be a carpenter. Maybe she wants to go to be a brain surgeon. Whatever that stuff is that she wants to do, whatever she's interested in. Maybe she wants to become a a high-level concert pianist. I don't know. I want her to be able to fully actually study that. And that's not something I was able to do. I was always at work. I took college classes and stuff like that, but I ended up just stopping because I couldn't do all of it at the same time. There are constraints, and realistically, I think at the time I made the consideration that I wanted to have a personal life instead of school. That's really what it boiled down to, because it was like there's three things that you could kind of have in that young life, and it's like, could you have a personal life? Could you have work life? And could you have schooling? There's those three things, and you got to pick two of them. And I basically went like, well, this school thing is kind of a waste of time, and admittedly, it was a bad decision. So shout out to everyone out there that's thinking about going to college or returning to college or anything like that. Just go do it. I would recommend that. That's 100% my recommendation. A little bit on my mind because I had my cousin over yesterday. We cooked some ribs and stuff, and one of his sons is 21, and he's like buying project cars and kind of goofing off and working a dead end job and just trying to go like, man, how are we going to convince that kid to get some technical training under his belt? Oh my God, Rumbus super chatted and then has to go night with the Swedish kroner 1111. What's the Swedish kroner 1111? I got to figure out how many days have I been sober? I have where's my calculator at? Is it here? I don't know. I'm going to put my date in here. Oops. I got to put this is how you got to put the date in here? Where is that thing? It's right there. Shift. I got to hit the shift. Yeah, I don't know what the 1111 is for because I got 2,000. I currently have 2,973 days sober, which he normally super chats that. So I don't know what the code is today. It's probably Swedish krona closest to $1. That would be my guess. Thanks, Rumbust. Appreciate your support all the way from Sweden. Sweden, my man. Very much appreciate it. And have a good night. I hope to make it to Sweden sometime this year. We'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes. I don't know how that's going to go. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Lexi says, out here the fireworks have been marked up at least 25%, so we didn't buy as much this year. Yeah, I just don't buy fireworks anymore. It's episode 1111. Thank you, Terry. We'll put this in here. Thanks, Terry. Oh, I burped. I was eating salsa before this, and it's making me burp. So, excuse me. We do have to update our members, so I can do the membership thing where I try to get people to become YouTube members, even though you probably don't want to. It is the top comment pinned in the chat. If you want to become a member, you can. We have 72. We've lost a couple. I don't know. It is what it is. If you want to become a member, if I get to 5,000 members, I will. I'll quit my job and do YouTube full time. That's the agreement. That's the agreement that I've put out there. That's the statement that I put out there. That's the agreement that I've agreed to. If we get to 5,000 members, I'll quit my job and I'll do full-time YouTube. So we're at 72, which means we're rapidly approaching that number. But thanks to all the 72 members, and Patreon's gone down too. People processed their credit cards got processed. I think it's 125 now, I think. I could probably check. Do I have the technology to check? No, I'm just going to say it's 125 because we went down. But, it's always an interesting time here in the States, because we always have some kind of holiday that comes up, like Memorial Day or President's Day or Martin Luther King Jr. Day or Veterans Day or Labor Day or the 4th of July. You know, we have all these holidays in the States, and it seems like the only thing that we do patriotically is just waste a bunch of money on stuff like fireworks or an extravagant dinner, or that kind of stuff. And that's as a whole, you know. I'm just speaking of the U.S. as a whole. It doesn't seem like we do very much when it comes down to strict patriotism, which I would consider to be like at least voting, right? One of our members that is in our Discord posted that the 4th of July will be postponed until November 8th this year in order to it's like, hey, you got to go vote. November 8th isn't a holiday. You don't get to have a holiday for voting in the U.S., but you get to have a holiday for spending money, I guess. It's it's all capitalism. It's got to be capitalism all the time. So yeah, become a YouTube member today, like I said. Fish Tank Barn with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much. U.S. Scaper says, you just seem to be over everything, to be honest. I'm not really. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that I like, but it's very interesting when rights are being overturned, people are lighting off fireworks. Regularly people are screaming and yelling. Also, like it's a weird headspace to be in the year 2022. Anytime you try to talk to somebody about how unemployment is great, they'll scream at you about how gas prices are high. It's an interesting time, and we're currently right now watching a lot of rights being stripped away by the Supreme Court, and that kind of stuff is troubling to me. I don't know, maybe it's not troubling to you. I know a lot of people in the U.S. Flex their ability to be apathetic to things that go on politically. I know a lot of people I talk to. Oh, I don't talk politics, and I always wonder why. And generally speaking, those people probably fall under the category of they just don't believe that anybody should have actual freedoms, I think, is what it boils down to. Yeah. I mean, I think that's normally the people that don't want to talk. Normally the people that don't want to talk politics are the folks that generally have really kind of negative views on humanity, and will generally point at the church to solve all of those problems. So, yeah. Very interesting time for sure. Very odd perspective on things. Do I have an odd perspective on things? Maybe. Alec the Nice says maybe we can at least get some paid parental leave now. No, you won't. So one of the things that's kind of interesting is, like, one of our members just had a baby. I'm not going to say who it was, but if you're in the Discord, you'll know who it is. And they happen to live in the EU, and they're going to get like 6 months of leave, I believe. 6 months of paternity leave. They also have like a nurse that comes to the house to help take care of the kid and transition new parents and stuff like that. The healthcare for going to the hospital was free. Like, Vicky and I have fantastic insurance. We have like amazing health insurance. When we had Olivia, it still cost $1,500. It cost us $1,500 with fantastic insurance, like the most coverage you can get insurance. And to explain that, like, Vicky works in health insurance, so it's like the best insurance you can get. We still had to pay like $1,500. So, I'm not saying $1,500 is an insane amount of money or anything, but still, it's like, that's a bunch of cash, right? In order to have a baby, right? And that's just strictly like the birth. That was just the like no issues birth, really. Like, there wasn't any weird thing about Olivia's birth. Yeah. Linda Worth says very troubling to me and not celebrating the 4th. Yeah, that's the thing. It's whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, regardless of that, like you should not be a fan of a group of 9 people that can't lose their job deciding to overturn a majority of the population's ability to access healthcare, right? And if you're just wondering, women are a majority of the United States population. You should probably go look it up. So it's kind of one of those situations where all of those people that got onto the Supreme Court of late, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and what's her name? Amy Coney Barrett. All 3 of them testified under oath in front of the Senate that they would not overturn Roe versus Wade based on the precedent that it has been the ruling that has existed for 49 years. They all stated that. I believe Neil Gorsuch was a little sneakier with his verbiage, but they all essentially perjured themselves in front of the Senate. So is that a problem? I think that's a problem as far as I'm concerned, that they should have at least not lied. They should have at least been not liars. If that's how they were going to go about that stuff, because what else were they lying about? Probably everything else they were talking about, right? Because you can't really trust a liar, especially when it's a liar that's on video in front of the Senate. Like it's a kind of a weird situation. So I think even if you're a fan of being pro-life or whatever, I don't think that you should realistically be a fan of a court that can drop rulings on high like that. U.S. Scaper says, not specifically you, LOL, everyone in general. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's weird vibes in the States these days. I really got to tell you. It's very weird vibes. Alec the Nice says, maybe they changed their mind for some reason. No, actually, you can go listen to their testimony in front of the Senate. And no, they cited a lot of what they just voted against, because one of the reasons that they voted against it was gay marriage, interracial marriage, and contraceptives. That was what Roe versus Wade was ruled on, and all of those other Supreme Court rulings are now in trouble because they're going to review them this year and likely overturn them. So your access for contraceptives will be removed in a lot of states, just like the access to abortion was just overturned, which is crazy. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think. I don't. Oh, unwanted commercial content. What is this? What? I need to I want to remove this. There. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. If you want people to check out your live stream, and you want me to promote it, feel free to email me, not just bust into my chat and tell people to go to your live stream. Just a shout out, No hate. I just don't want your promo on my channel without knowing who you are. Seems probably pretty normal, right? It overturned the government being in control of the decision and transferred that to each individual state, actually. I am aware of that. I am aware that it has come down to the state-by-state decision now, yes. But the last 50 years, it has been a federal It has been at the federal level. So once you overturn, for instance, Loving versus Virginia, you'll be able to get married in Washington State if you're a black woman and a white guy, for instance. But a lot of states then will have automatic trigger laws that will not allow interracial marriage to exist anymore. Is that what we want? Do we want contraceptives to be outlawed in a bunch of states in the country? Do we want a bunch of states that say start enacting anti-sodomy laws again? Like, we don't want that. One of the reasons that it went all the way up to the federal level is that it already went through all of the states. Yeah, and there's no reason to overturn it at this point, and they even testified to it. There's no reason to overturn it at this point, as to one of the reasons that they would consider to be qualified to become a Supreme Court justice. One of the realities that I would like to mention to pro-lifers out there is that, for instance, in Idaho is a perfect example. They have a proposed law right now that if you got an abortion in state or out of state, you will be prosecuted as a murder one suspect. How does the enforcement of that go? I guess any woman that was suspected to be pregnant at some point are just all suspects now forever. Anybody who has what we would consider to be an adult relationship with somebody else, now they're all suspects. Anybody that goes to the doctor's office, you need some crazy oversight. You need a crazy, you need a government representative to be in the building to testify whether or not you got an abortion. Like, it's an insane amount of, it's going to be an insane amount of wasted resources, realistically. And I don't want my tax dollars going to enforcing any of that nonsense. But Idaho's the most extreme, but it's so Idaho is the most extreme, but I believe there are some. So here we go. Here, I'll just look this up. But the criminal prosecution is going to be in a lot of states. So like Missouri has one, Louisiana has one, I believe Florida will have one. Texas has a civil lawsuit. There's a giant list of them here if you want to go through them. I don't know if I want to go through them live right now because it's a lot of reading to do on a live stream, and technically we could go through them like if people if it's something that people want to talk about, but a lot of the anti-abortion laws are criminalizing abortion. So let's see. Let's just go to Tennessee real quick. Hold on. What? Oh my God, I went backwards and it just... Oh, you go backwards. If you click backwards, it takes you completely out of this website. We will remember that. Oh, let me see. Anyhow, sorry, I'm reading, and that doesn't make for a very good live stream. Ooh, Andikins has a good point. Says, can we bring back witchcraft laws? They're probably all still on the books, realistically. I think that's the reality that we all kind of have to sit with. Crazy Aquarium Guy says, hey man, I used glycerin instead of water in my bubble counter. Thought it would work like baby oil, but it does not. Glycerin is not baby oil, so yeah, I'm not surprised. Let me look at my Amazon store. There's a brand of oh, here we got to go to this all. I got to go to my Amazon store to find my mineral oil type because I can't remember the name of it, but I know it's in my Amazon store. Anybody that's interested in going over to my Amazon store, if you want, just a heads up. It does. Where's my account link? Oh, here it is. Copy URL. Here's the URL. Obviously, if you guys go to my Amazon store, I am an affiliate, so I do get commissions if you guys go there. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's not a hard sell. But if you guys are buying stuff on Amazon, I'd appreciate it if you do. If not, also doesn't matter to me. Where did the mineral oil go? None of this is in order, so on my end. Where is it? Scrolling. My God, man. I can't find it. Where's that mineral oil? Here it is. Purchased October. Man, I haven't had to buy this food grade mineral oil in a long time. 3 years. Because I don't really ever need very much of it. Here's a direct link to the mineral oil that I use. So, very simple stuff. You just want to get food grade mineral oil for putting into your CO2 bubble counter, or even just a regular bubble counter. I would do also, like if you were just doing air, although I don't know why you would do that. You would need like a really weird system in order to care how much air bubbles are going through. But I use that mineral oil because it's food grade, so you know that it generally isn't going to have anything weird in it. You want to make sure that it doesn't have any scent additives. That can always be an issue because a lot of times the scent can transfer into your water and could potentially cause like a big fungal outbreak with your fish. Is kind of the big deal that you got to worry about. But food grade mineral oil, no problems, and that one doesn't have anything else added to it, and it'll hold up pretty well. I've used it since 2019. I've used it for 3 years, and it's worked fine. Who knows? Maybe 4 years is the 4 years is the point where it just gives out, and I have a disaster. But so far, no problem. All taxes should be paid as GoFundMes. I don't want my taxes going towards things I don't agree with. People should be able to choose what their taxes go to. We do choose what our taxes go to by electing our representatives, right? We choose where our taxes go to by electing representatives. So I don't know why everything should be paid as a GoFundMe. That sounds like a giant workaround of adding in a whole bunch of fees and stuff that would waste a lot of resources so that a company could take advantage of it. But unfortunately, a lot of areas in the United States, it is fairly difficult to vote for some people. And on top of that, there are at least 100 million Americans that didn't even care on the last presidential election to go vote. So there's our big issues. But our taxes go to what our representatives are lobbying for. That's how we choose where our taxes go. Yeah. No, we choose who chooses for us. Yes, they lobby on our behalf. That's, unfortunately, that's how the world works. If you wanted to walk around and poll 335 million people on what they like and don't like, I'll check back with you in like 300 years or 500 years or however long that would take. It would take an immense amount of time in order to accomplish that. I think we do need more state representatives. I think we need to expand the Senate. I think realistically we probably should, without having to change like state borders and stuff like that, I feel like we definitely should be expanding those those seats and the house seats and all that kind of stuff. We shouldn't have capped it. I don't think we should have capped it. But that's just me, you know. It was designed by people when there was like five people on in the US. So, yeah. Crazy Aquarium guys, thanks man. Please help me with my carpet. They send me an advanced 1-2 grow 9 packs when I originally chose an easier one. Nice of them, but I'm new to CO2, 34 years old, first tank. Please help me with my carpet. They sent me an advanced 1-2 grow 9 packs. The tissue culture plants. Yes, tissue culture plants can be a big pain. Yeah. That's for sure. Bobo Guild de Brun, they're taking away native sovereignty. I'll talk about that in a minute, so hang around. We'll get into that because it does affect my family technically. So with the tissue culture plants, it can be extraordinarily difficult to get them converted. The best bet that you can do is you could probably find one of my really old like dwarf baby tears, I can't say it right. Hemanthiatus, HM or MH. You know, all those weird little carpeting plants. Sorry, pearlweed, all that kind of crap. The best thing that you can do is divide them up and individually plant the stems. It takes forever. I understand it. That it takes forever. It is it's sort of one of those situations where you really are going to have to be patient with it, and some of it is going to convert and some of it isn't going to convert. That's probably my biggest advice. If you get tissue culture plants, break them up so the ones that don't convert, they just are going to individually like die off. You're not going to really have to worry about it that much. But when you have clumps in your clump planting, anything like that, you're realistically going to run into a lot of problems with big clumps of stuff kind of dying, and it getting really frustrating when the dead stuff goes floating out, the live stuff floats with it. You know, it's just a big pain. At one point in time, I used to float my tissue cultures just to see how well that they would convert, because them being so close to the top of the water, you're going to get a lot of CO2 from your air that we all breathe, right? You know, we're going to get a lot of CO2, and you're going to get pretty close to the light. It's going to be sort of the optimal growing position for those plants to transition. Position transition, that's what you're looking for. And they're going to start to grow roots, throw roots down. You can try that if that works for you. But I think ultimately the best advice is breaking up the tissue culture and just planting them, spreading them out as much as possible, getting them to convert to the fully submerged lifestyle that these plants are going to be living in, and working on it that way. That's probably going to be your best bet. That's where I saw the most positive outcome, realistically, that's where I was at. Bobo says they're taking away native sovereignty in Oklahoma now. Yes, they overturned a 2-year-old Supreme Court ruling that apparently Neil Gorsuch is super mad about now because he wrote that one. Yeah, that's why I say we have a lot of problems with our Supreme Court right now, and the craziness that they're up to is sort of beyond the pale. You know, I'm old enough to remember when Justice Thomas was going through all the public nonsense. Well, it's not nonsense, but basically there was a lot of sexual harassment allegations around Thomas, amongst other stuff, Justice Thomas, and they were saying that he just is not going to be a good candidate for the court. And George H.W. was it H.W.? I think it was George H.W. I believe that pushed him through to get in there. to basically do a lot of the nonsense that the Bush family has done. And I've said it time and time again. I don't know if anybody, takes it to heart or remembers what's going on, but we hear so much from these kind of bozo grifters like Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro that like the Clinton family, the Clintons, oh my God. And they just never seem to bring up the Bush family, the fact that H.W. Bush was the head of the CIA, then he was vice president for 8 years, then he was president for 8 years, then we had 8 years of Clinton, then we went back to 8 years of Bush's son. When you start to add up all those years of the Bush family sort of being ridiculously in power, why don't they ever get mentioned? Why doesn't that ever get mentioned? I don't know, right? A little bit weird. Linda Worth says the Anita Hill watched all of that trial. Yeah, Anita Hill definitely was likely correct, about everything. So, yeah, can't say we, that's the weird thing, is that was 30 years ago. And I remember it, I broke them into 40 plants from 9, and I have CO2 and faster growing plants in the back at first to get rid of the algae. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much on pace with what it is that you're doing as far as what you should be doing, setting up a tank and running a tank and doing all that. Yeah, so I mean, you're pretty much like you're on pace. Any planted aquarium, you have to remember that, like, it's a patience game. Like, it really is. You're going to have to be patient with it. There's really no other way to interact with a planted aquarium. It's one of the reasons I really like it. It's very meditative. It's very positive for mental health, and it's a very positive activity to bring to your life. I 100% endorse it. One of the reasons that I endorse it is that you do have to learn some patience and stuff like that, and you have to be able to figure out like what it is that you are trying to accomplish, what you're working on, how things are changing, how you can change them, how you can maintain them in a positive way. And I think those are all very beneficial for any person to be able to chill. Crazy Aquarium guy says, would have joined just for you helping me, but couldn't. Forgot my password, then I have to change it on 8 devices. Thanks a lot. Well, hey, you can always join on Patreon. You could always go over to Patreon and join up there, and then you get access to our Discord. It's actually cheaper on Patreon too. You can do $1 a month if you want. So yeah, YouTube's like $5 because I set it at $5, and I don't believe I can offer a lower tier now because it's been at $5 for so long. But I guess I could look into it and see if I could do $1 one on YouTube. But you could do $1 on Patreon if you want, and you get, like I said, gets you access to our Discord where we're basically always on there. The thing is, like, I don't pay attention to YouTube comments that much. Like, I do read them. I don't respond to them anymore, realistically. All I do is just delete comments off of YouTube that are disgusting. And most of that's just automated now. Like, most of it, like, I don't even read like gnarly comments anymore because they automatically get filtered out. Yeah, here we go. I've got how many comments do I have that have been automatically filtered? Let's see. Hold on. They're going to get deleted after. How many is this? 60. Oh, this one's actually a normal comment. We'll just allow it. We'll allow that one to exist. Yeah, I don't know. There's like 60-something comments over here that have been automatically deleted. But yeah, I just, to be honest with you, like, I do respond to some of the YouTube comments, but I always respond to people on Discord. So if you're like wanting to interact with me, send me an email or get on the Discord, which obviously you have to pay membership to get on there. But you know, it's sort of one of those things where people go like, yeah, but I should have full access to your time always, all the time. And I'm like, no, I draw the line. Sorry. My daughter and Vicky and probably my mom, those are probably the three people that get free access to my time regardless of anything else that's going on. I don't know. If that seems weird to you, then I don't know. I don't know. Crazy Aquarium Guy says, how much for one of your awesome paintings? The thing is, I have to price my paintings high enough that it will offset my other work, right? So if, let's say I have to work on a painting for a week, and okay, let's say I make $2,000 a week. I don't, but let's say I do, right? Let's say that I make that much. That means that I would be not working at work for a week. So it's at minimum going to be that number, right? But if I also got to miss work in order to work on something, like I got to make that viable. So it would obviously have to be more, right? So the big issue is that people do not want to pay very much money for paintings. That's the reality. Like, I tried to do things like sell $50 paintings. I tried to do stuff that was sell $30 paintings, $100 paintings. You know, I've tried to do that stuff, and the reality is like where the money is that you make a piece of art that's cool, and then you turn it into a T-shirt or a print or something that people can buy for $10 or something. That's the reality of like where the money is. Like people in America don't want to pay. People in America don't want to pay creatives to do creative things. That's ultimately what it boils down to. And you know, if people out there are wondering like, what is he talking about? And the reality is that like the Renaissance and at any point in time when humans were at a peak of creativity, right? It literally boiled down to rich people coughing up money to do a thing. And the exact example of that would be, let's say that I was going to make a movie, right? Like, which is one of my goals in life, is to make some films. But let's say I was going to make a film. It's going to boil down to somebody having enough money to fund doing that film. But they're going to fund it in a way that they're going to be able to make their money back. So it's going to have to be some kind of investment. And most people just, they don't even want to do it. That's not even something that they've thought about. But the weird thing is, like, I've talked to rich people, like, from having worked a million years, I've met rich people, and I've actually got the opportunity to talk to some. And they're like friendly about it in person, but it's not something that they're actually realistically probably going to follow through on, you know? Only have expensive originals, one of a kind. Oh, well, there you go. My family is oil painters for real. No IKEA art in my house. Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. Like, that's rad, dude. If you have somebody in your family who can do a bunch of paintings like that, quality paintings and stuff, then that's like amazingly, that's an amazing situation to be in, you know? It's sort of like, if you have a friend that has lots and lots of like fancy Planet aquariums, and you get to go like hang out at their place. You know what I mean? And speaking of that, I have a fancy friend that has lots of aquariums, and we actually went over for a little friendly barbecue with Corey, and it was a lot of fun to hang out in the sun. Ran around. Daughter was catching frogs down at they have a little pond on their property. Daughter was catching frogs, and we got to go through the fish room at Corey's place with my daughter to go look in all the tubs and stuff. And you know, I don't, it's kind of funny because my spouse was looking around and she's like, "You guys built all this?" It's like, "Yep, we built all this." And yeah, it's kind of cool to be able to look at a project like that when it's done, and then not look at it like the moment after it's done, being able to go back after like a year of stuff that's been going on there, and just see like, oh wow, all this stuff is working out really well. Like, okay, so that, but that's like a perfect example of it's like going over to Corey's house and he's got a billion fish tanks there and a pond where you're trying to find the koi fish in the pond is like, man, can't find them. What's your opinion on CCAM Matrix? Oh, it's like one of my most viewed and hated videos on YouTube. CCAM Matrix is really overpriced for the pumice that it is. I know I still get like hate comments on that video all the time of people that are like, "You're bad mouthing CCAM Matrix." I'm like, the thing is, I'm not bad mouthing it. It's a natural product that's mined out of the ground, and obviously that costs money to do. It's not free to operate and clean stuff that is dug out of the ground. It's not free to put it in a container. It's not free to market it. It's not free to ship it around, all that kind of stuff. But for what it is, there are a lot of companies that pull that pumice out of the ground and put it into giant bags for the same price. And so that's always kind of been my stance, is that like it is just a high price for what the product is. Does it work well? Sure. Does it work better than ceramic biorings? I've never been able to calculate a difference. I've never been able to calculate a difference ever. I've never been able to find any kind of study that anybody else did that is a real difference between the sintered glass. So it's like a ceramic, but just those cheap biorings. That's what I always use, because I think last time, I don't know, I have buckets and buckets of the little bags of them. One of the big reasons for that is that those sintered bioring glass biorings, they're just the cheapo ones, you can clean them. So you put them in a bucket of bleach, leave them in a bucket of bleach overnight, 24 hours, rinse them off, let them air dry for a long time. The bleach goes away, they get clean. Simple. So yeah, this right here is yeah, so here's a link right here. Hold on, I'll get you a link. I don't even know what company this is. Aquaneat. I don't even know what company this is. But these are just mass produced in China, and you get 6 bags of biorings for $18. And I'm sure there might be something out there that is cheaper or technically better. I haven't been able to find anybody who could actually produce other than anecdotal evidence, which I already have anecdotal evidence. I have my own anecdotal evidence. I haven't seen anybody produce anything other than that to show like, this is a better biomedia. Here's the study. Here's the study where they did side by side 2,000 aquariums over a 9-month period. Blah blah blah. I haven't seen anybody post anything like that. If there is something out there like that, I would love to read it. I would love to spend the time to check it out. I would like to see if it was peer reviewed and take a look and see if anybody could verify the findings. But I've yet to see anything like that. Sorry to all the others to make comments like this. Hey, if you're the only one chatting, you're the only one chatting, and I will continue to talk to you. Simple as that, bro. If you're willing to type into the chat. I will answer your questions. I don't care what the question is, realistically. If there's something that that I really don't want to answer, I will just tell you I don't want to answer that. I don't want to talk about it, right? So that's the worst thing that could happen. Or you post something that is like so indecent that I have to delete it. That's really all it boils down to. Hold on. My dog's got to come in. Come on, baby. You want to come inside? Okay. Sorry about that. The dog was scratching at the door. She's probably scared. Are you scared? Yeah, she's going to come hide under my desk. I think the girls went for a little walk. The ladies went for a walk. I don't know where they're going, but they're walking around. And the dog is scared and wants to come in here and hide out under the desk. You want to lay down? Dog awkwardly standing under my chair. But yeah, don't feel bad about taking over the chat. The people should be chatting more, but they're not. Generally, that means that there's a lot of people just listening. They're just walking around doing whatever, and they can't get their phone out. You know, they can't get their phone out to become a member, you know. They just can't do it. They can't get their phone out of their pocket. Can't get their phone out of their pocket to become a member. And then we all get sad. We all start crying, alligator tears, and biting large sandwiches. You know, that's how we roll around here. We got a member chat from Joel G, straight out of New Z. Fireworks. There we go. Zip gun has double glazed windows, great for keeping firework noise down. I have double glazed windows, and you can still hear it. So yeah. Joel G's doing the TPS reports. That's good. Shout out. We are actually we're putting the cover sheet on the TPS reports now. Just I don't know if you got the memo, but you know, Chris Howell, howdy. Everyone, happy Independence Day. Well, happy Independence Day to you. I would say go help somebody get registered to vote, but they're not even open today. So, you know, that's how that goes. Honestly, sometimes I join some stream while grocery shopping. Yes, I do it all the time. I do it all the time. And speaking of that, one of my favorite YouTubers of all time, one of my all-time favorite YouTubers died. I believe it was announced on Friday. Thursday? Friday. I think it was announced on Friday that he passed away on Thursday, the 30th. And, you know, it's one of those things that, like, I've listened to hundreds of hours of this guy, and you know, he's one of those dudes that never did the face reveal, never like went out in public and met anybody in person. Tragically young at 23 years old. And, yeah, just, it's, you know, I don't know. I've been trying to wrap my mind around it a little bit, and it's extraordinarily sad. Realistically, you know, you get that parasocial relationship where you listen to somebody, and it's like you feel like you know them. Young man had cancer, like some really weird cancer that was like in his shoulder and his arm, and passed away at 23 years old. Technoblade, who was just, you know, either you liked him or you didn't like him. That's fine. Maybe he wasn't your taste, but you know, he's a Minecraft YouTuber that was just one of the funniest guys. On YouTube, and was just clearly a sweet guy, you know, and it's really sad. Rosie worked all weekend. I'm so tired, my eyes hurt. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. I guess the reason I bring up Technoblade dying is I honestly am probably more affected than of it than you would think. Really sad about it. And you know, it's like I'm gonna miss somebody that I kind of work with. Basically, is that I listen to Technoblade so much while working. Um, like I'm gonna miss like my work buddy basically. um, I'm always working by myself, so I constantly have I always have my headphones on like this. If you guys ever see me at work, I always have my headphones on like this because I'm listening to something like Technoblade or whatever, and then I have this ear open so that I can not get, I don't know, so I can hear whatever's going on around me. Um, so it's a real bummer. The young man had access to um, pretty much unlimited future, um, and it's just ridiculous. Like the video, man. YouTube has made awesome tubers to get a job again with a weird algo. Um, yeah, I mean the thing is that I was doing my own contracting business, doing remodels and stuff like that. Um, but I was also doing YouTube. I was doing fish tanks. I was doing a lot of stuff. As I think was announced the Friday before this last Friday. Um, Corey from Aquarium Co-op mentioned that I'm be over there full time. I signed a contract that I would be full time with the Aquarium Co-op, and the reality is that life sort of dictates often these kinds of decisions. Like, I like the Aquarium Co-op. I agree with most everything that goes on with the people that work there, the mission statement, what they're trying to do. I agree with that stuff, and I'm happy to support it. I'm appreciative of them helping support my family by, helping pay my bills and stuff. I enjoy working there, and I definitely look forward to the continued success of that business, the continued success of all of the people that work there. I honestly like everybody that works at Aquarium Co-op from the top down. Corey, Randy, Jimmy, Robert, everyone else I'm forgetting, but I can't name everybody. But everybody that works there is pretty rad, and I like everybody that works there. So I'm happy to be a part of the team and do my share of the work to add into the success. So I'm gonna keep doing that and keep going forward. Like I said, I think it would be rad to have a budget that would dictate doing big projects for YouTube. My YouTube content was never good enough to was never good enough to like have that happen, I guess, is the best way to put it. And I do hope that like over the next year I'm able to get a lot of the content that I have filmed and sort of been working on trying to put out there, that like maybe it'll do really well, and maybe it will continue to do the exact same now. As illustrated down here in the corner, I got 125 patron people and 72 members that are supporting and being around, and continuing to be a part of the community. And so it's kind of one of those things. Like, I remember somebody was like, "My God, you make $1,000 a month off doing YouTube," and it's like, yeah, but if that's my job, I'll be homeless in a month or two. So it's just one of those things. Like, it's never gotten to that point. And I think right now, most of the cost gets chewed up into hosting the website, hosting the Minecraft server, paying off licenses. I think music licenses and all that stuff is like $400 a year, for instance. Video editing software is like, I think $500 a year, stuff like that. So it's like, if I make $500 in a month off of YouTube, it's like, oh, that pays for my video editing software, for the year. And so you're like, okay, well, there goes May. The month of May is gone. Okay. So, like I said, I just like being able to do the live show right now, and I'm trying to edit content. But I'm also, like, yesterday I spent a large part of the day like clearing some earth, dealing with a tree guy to hopefully get some trees taken down on the property. I moved a bunch of earth. We built a chicken coop, and I did a barbecue with my family, and that was the day. And I certainly wasn't going to try to edit last night. I was wiped out and kind of fell asleep on the couch for a little while, you know? So, yeah. Bobo Glid de Bruyne says, any tips for someone interested in growing and selling plants for the hobby? The best thing that you can do is get good at growing your plants, then get good at marketing them, then get good at packaging them, then get good at selling them to people. The best advice I can give you is have zero overhead. If you can grow plants for free, you can sell plants for money. So one of the first things I would recommend is move to like Thailand or Vietnam. Vietnam has a lot of great plant farms there. One of the reasons for that is cost of living is super low. So trying to grow and farm aquarium plants in the United States is probably going to be a very, 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 very difficult space to work in. Almost every person that sells plants in the U.S. is essentially doing drop shipping, which means that they take your order, then they order from a plant grower that ships it overnight, like the next Monday morning. Then they receive the plants and stick them in another box and ship them to your house. So, yeah, there's not really a lot of people growing any plants in the U.S. It just does not really exist. Crazy aquarium guy with a Swedish, I think that's Swedish kroner of 50. Thanks, man. 60 by 40 centimeter figure 8 puffer, like your awesome shrimp painting. What would that cost? I don't know. One of the big issues that, like I mentioned earlier, is like fitting it into my schedule to actually do a painting. Like, it has to be enough money for me to like really prioritize it. And so, like I said, like if somebody honestly wants to commission a painting, send an email to the email that is send an email to the email address that's attached to my my YouTube channel. I think it's, hold on, let me think if I got this right. Yeah, my website is darkstararts.com, and I don't ever really do too much to it these days. That's really kind of the thing, is like I don't do a whole lot to that website anymore. I set it up a long time ago, and I was doing a bunch of updates on it, and I don't really do that much on it, but I own it still. That's my email address. I think that's the email address that's attached to my YouTube channel. It's normally the email address I get emails from people from YouTube, so must be it. I don't know. But I get emails from there. Actually, I'm going to remove that from chat. But either way, I get emails there, and I'll see them and be checking them out. If somebody wants to commission something, we can talk about it there. But, yeah. Yeah, moving to Asia is out of the question, I'm afraid. I live in Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is going to be extraordinarily difficult because you're going to be dealing with the same type of environment that I live with here. So if you had, say, a big building, and I don't know what a big building is in Ireland, so don't get mad at me, but here, like, let's say you had an outbuilding that was a garage size, so 24 feet by 24 feet would just be sort of a two-car garage. Is that right? Yeah, 24 by 24 is a two-car garage, yeah. So 24 by 24 is, how many meters is that? 8 meters by 8? Is that correct? Yeah, 8 meters by 8 meters. So whatever that is in metric, metrices. So like, let's say you had a building like that, and you set up a bunch of plant growing tables in there. The initial setup cost, you're going to have to calculate that. So like let's say all of these growing tables cost you a total of $10,000. I don't know. We could sit down and look up stuff, how much it's going to cost to start it, but let's say it costs $10,000. Then all of the plants, the pots, the shipping, and the heating and cooling and stuff like that is what's going to the heating and cooling is something that is going to be the reoccurring cost. You might not have to pay that much for water in Ireland. I don't know how much you have to pay for water in Ireland, but you may or may not encounter a bunch of reoccurring costs that I can't think about. Like, for instance, you got to pay VAT in Ireland, I think. Value added tax, I think. So there's a lot of things you're going to have to calculate. And then how many of those things can you do over and over and over again every month? Because there's a lot of plants that take like 3 months to grow, which means you're going to have to set up new pots of those plants every single month so that like that third month is mature so you could sell those, but you can't have 2 months in between not having that plant, right? And plus, you don't want them to overgrow what you're selling, right? So you don't want the plants to be too large and too overgrown. So that's a lot of what's going to go into it. If you, let's say for instance, you have a couple of aquariums and you're growing some stuff, all you got to do is just get onto Facebook or some kind of social media that you're comfortable with, likely a Reddit page. There's even some like forums that I wouldn't mention, but just go ahead and look them up and see if you're comfortable with them. And you can do individual sales to people. If you want, you could do the eBay route. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but there's a lot that goes into like breaking into the business. And I'm not even sure what the laws are in Ireland. I don't even know if you guys are in the EU anymore, or are you guys part of Brexit? Is Ireland in the EU still? Okay, so Ireland is still... Is Ireland still in the EU? Northern Ireland is still in the EU, right? But Ireland isn't? I don't know. You guys' border stuff is so goofy. It's difficult for me to track it because it doesn't affect me at all. I'm not intending to like be a jerk or anything like that, but it's just like, dude, it's so hard to track what you guys are up to. What does the UK want to change? Under Brexit deal, certain goods have to be checked when they enter Northern Ireland from Great Britain. Oh, so my guess is that everything comes into Northern Ireland. Let's see. Goods destined only for Northern Ireland go into the green lane and are not checked. How does this go? How does this... What are you guys doing? I don't know. This is very confusing. You guys are in both? Oh my... That's even more confusing. On 15th of June, European Commission took legal action against the UK for not keeping the protocol. Oh my God, you guys are just battling back. It's just chaos. This is why the US is independent from the UK, from England. We're just not a part of that anymore because this is just such chaos. You know, it's just such chaos. There's a wild island out there in the north there that there's a lot going on. You guys got a lot going on. So I don't even know because you're going to be limited to a lot of markets because you're not in the EU anymore. And it's almost like it would be better if you were in the EU because then you'd have a lot of different countries you could send plants to. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what the aquascaping is like in Ireland. I would love to go, and I would love to go visit Ireland and meet all the aquascapers there that I could. But, It's just kind of one of those things. So you live in Northern Ireland. I don't know which one. I don't know. I'll have to read about it later this week because it's gonna bug me, whether or not you're in the EU or not. Yeah. Crazy Aquarium guy says, okay, I send you email instead, but still need bubbles per second on a 55-gallon fast-growing plants in the background and plenty of ferts so they grow super fast. How much CO2 for the grass? I mean, realistically, on any tank that I do, I try to just do 2 bubbles a second. That's it. I don't go all crazy with my bubs. Bubbles per second. I always try to keep it at like 2. It might be 3 accidentally sometimes, but 2 is sort of kind of my target because there's going to be CO2 being dissolved into my water column. That's basically what I'm going for. I'm trying to bump the number up from the base of 7 to like 20 parts per million, maybe 25, maybe 30, depending on the situation of how the tank is running. I'm not trying to go completely bonkers with the CO2. I just want CO2 availability to be a little higher in the water than it just being a stagnant situation because I know that I'm growing plants. That's the thing. Like, you wouldn't need to add CO2 to some cichlid tank that has some floaters floating around in it, right? Some duckweed and redroot floaters or whatever. I wouldn't need to add any CO2 to that because the plants are going to continue to grow without it. It's not something I would need to add. So I just go with 2. And if you actually have a drop checker, you want to make sure that your drop checker is going green. Wait, isn't the drop checker blue, green, yellow? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't really use drop checkers anymore. Drop. Yeah, they got to go green. Don't they start? They don't start blue, do they? They start blue. Blue, yellow's too high, right? Right, I think. Yellow's too high. Yes. Okay. God. I was having a brain fart there on the drop checker. It's been a long time since I used a drop checker, so my apologies. But yeah, you're trying to get the drop checker to go green. If it is, you're good. If not, I just do 2 bubbles per second anyhow, so I just am not all that worried about it anymore. To those of you that have gassed off your fish, I'm sorry. It's just never something that it's never something I've ever added so much CO2 it caused a problem with fish health. Oh my God, we forgot to update the members. Crazy Aquarium Guy became a member, and we forgot to shout him out for becoming super member number 73. Thank you very much, dude. We appreciate that. You know, if chat revenue goes over, let's say if chat revenue goes over $1,000 today, I'm going to, I'll stay on for a couple more hours, right? Yeah. Although a bunch of people just left because they probably are going to a barbecue or whatever. So, you know, it is what it is. Any suggestions for a waterproof magnet that you may have used in an aquarium to replace suction cups? Suction cups are just so unreliable. The big issue with that is that, so I believe I have the rare. Whoops, I forgot to put magnet on there. Oh, it already came up. So there isn't really a magnet that I know of that is going to work underwater that doesn't cost like a crazy arm and a leg because they're made. So Will is asking this. He's been a member for 25 months, dude. That is. Thank you, dude. That is a long time supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Here's a link to these like rare earth magnets are super cheap nowadays. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're manufacturing super strong magnets. The big issue here is that there is a company. There was a company that I had ordered some from a while back for an aquarium thing, and then the order got canceled for some reason. Like, I think that they I don't know, like maybe the company went away. Maybe the company like disappeared and they didn't make it. But they made these magnetic shelves for inside of reef aquariums, and I wanted to get those and then adapt them to kind of freshwater use. And I had ordered it, and then for some reason the order got canceled. I got refunded the money, and I think a lot of it had to do with like maybe the company just went out of business or something. But it's super hard to find something reasonable. And the thing is, you're probably gonna have to make it. But once you have these magnets and you realize like how ridiculously strong they are, you could realistically start to use these magnets and then build around them to make something that isn't going to scuff and chuff the glass. The real trick for that is the backside that you want to use is it's the backside from what are those pads called? The pad from, let me find the pad. It's the pad that go onto the mag floats. Where's the replacement pad? So you stick that on one side of the magnet and stick that on the magnet side that's going to go on the outside. And then everything you're going to attach to the magnet will go, God, I really should do a video about this. This would be fun. This would be a fun video to do. Where the hell are the replacement pads? Why are they not showing up here? See if I can find them. It's going to take a second. Oh, there they are. Oh my God, I just looked them up. I just looked them up with my type-ins. I typed right in there. So these Wang Jangler parts right here will not scratch your glass. So if you use these two parts on the back sides of the magnets, you stick those to the magnets, and then you're good to go. I'm going to add this to my store. Where's my store? Add to list. That's not right. I can't remember where the button is to add this to my store. There used to be a button right over here. I could add it to the store. Oh my God, it's gone. Oh, they've replaced it with a sell on Amazon. What do I do over here? No? I don't know. I'll figure out the button later. But yeah, if you check those out, you'll be able to stick two and two together, and then you'll be able to add on to the magnet and make a thing. I have a thing that would really work well for kind of what you're looking for there. And then you'd be able to build off of that and make something inside the aquarium that you want to do. So like, let's say you took some of that kind of foam material and you made like a branch out of it, and then you stuck a magnet on the back side of it, and then you stuck the magnet on the outside. You could like attach it to the back of the aquarium and then have that sticking out. Or you could actually just take some regular old driftwood and attach it to it. It will fall off eventually though if it's glued, because the wood becomes waterlogged, so keep that in mind. But it is kind of a pain. But you know, if it comes to like attaching those magnets to something that's plastic or whatever, you can glue it right on there and it won't generally fall off. Crazy Aquarium Guy says, I have a feeling you are super honest, good or bad. Yeah, I mean, it's the best thing I can do is just be honest about stuff. And yeah, that's generally just how I operate in life. Like, I don't know. If I don't know something, I don't. What's the point in being like, I know? It's just weird to me. Harlequin Rasboris, I had one jump out of my rimless tank with no lid. How far below the top should I keep the water level? 5 inches. I mean, you can make a net lid. That's what I would do. So like, what are who makes those lids? There's like, hold on. There's somebody makes these. There's somebody who makes these like rimless aquarium lids. They're like a top that go over it that are, It's like fishing wire, though. Man, I can't find it on Amazon. It's definitely not a quick search item on Amazon, but essentially what I would do is make, I would make one of those is probably what I would do. So that it could be like as least intrusive as possible for viewing, to like looking through. What is this? Is this the thing? This is like a mesh. I mean, you basically want to make a screen top for the for a rimless tank. And obviously you're going to throw it on there, and you're going to put it on there only at the times when you're like not taking pictures or whatever of it, just to keep those fish in there. But you know, I don't think there's any level of like lowering the water which would stop a fish from possibly jumping out. Like sometimes fish jump out of tanks, and it, be brutally honest with you, that really sucks. It does. It's terrible, but also, you know, I've had fish jump out of a tank that had like a full-on cover, except there was like one little round cover off of those old Aqueon covers that go onto tanks, and a fish jumped out of that tiny little hole. So the whole top was covered except this one little hole, and fish jumped out of that. So, you know, sometimes they're gonna jump out, and like I said, it's not good. It's not a behavior I would encourage, but yeah. Or you could make like an acrylic lid that has a bunch of holes in it that you could just fit right onto the top. That would work. A lot of people use that weird poly plastic stuff that's like see-through. They use that for a cover. But I personally like the look of the fishing line one, but I can't seem to find it on YouTube. So you might have to find some videos or something to look at. But that's the one that I liked, and a quick search here is not locating it. But you could definitely make one out of acrylic that has just a bunch of holes in it that keeps the air flow going through there, and the fish would not be able to jump, and might be aesthetically like reasonable to look at. Crazy Aquarium Guy, diffuser or reactor? Again, I'm so behind on watching videos from losing almost everything in COVID. Yes, do the video. Love the magnets. All real chefs as you and me are always going to use magnets for knives. That's true. That's very true. I use them for my aquascaping tools also. So all of my tanks, I run on sumps. And so all of my CO2 runs into reactors that I built myself, and I have some videos on the channel of building different styles of reactors. Most all of the parts are on my Amazon list, so if you guys look on there, and you could find stuff in whatever country you're in, but you're like, oh, that thing, I got to find that in Sweden or Spain or Thailand or wherever you are. You could find it through my Amazon list of going like, well, that's not in my country, but we have a thing just like that. So you can definitely go through that. Yeah. And check out those videos. But I all my CO2 I do with reactors. I really don't do it any other way. Oh, and then we had a topic that Mikey wanted me to talk about on the request on the live stream channel on the Discord. He said he wants to ask about sump drains. So wherever Mikey is, hopefully you're watching, and we're going to talk about that now. Let me get my stills out here. There we go. And then we got to go add source. Image file. Okay, these images are brought to you by Bulk Reef Supply. I just found them on the internet, and hopefully nobody gets mad that I use them. But this right here is the Durso style Overflow. Where's my arrow? There's my arrow. So this is a Durso style Overflow. Because I'm using their image, if you guys want to go to Bulk Reef Supply, you can go check out the parts list there. The Durso Overflow, I used this for a very long time. I used the Durso Overflow for a very long time, but one of the big downsides here is that it does not have an emergency drain. It's only one drain. It's got a cap on the top with a lid or with the air inlet. Water goes in here and flows down. Just very simple design. And does it work well? Yeah. Does it run the risk of overflow and problems because of clogging? Yes, but the Durso stops it from just being a standpipe and getting clogged. So the water level's like up here. Oftentimes, a lot of the stuff that gets through your overflow grate down into the water here generally won't get sucked into the pipe and get stuck. Does that make sense? So, yeah. So there's that one. The next one is what I use nowadays, which is, well, actually, this is not exactly what I use. So as the last one, we had the Durso style drain. But I put a Durso on my overflow now for the primary drain. So this primary drain right here, I put the T with the elbow on it. Then I put the strainer on there too. That runs down to a valve to slow the siphon. So the siphon's going to be going at whatever pace to keep this as quiet as possible. And then I have a standpipe for emergency in case this pipe gets clogged, which oftentimes it gets clogged down at the valve down here because little bits of debris and snails and whatever gets caught up down in this valve. So what I do is I mark it with a marker, the up and down, so that all I do is open up this valve and then return it back. Open it up, return it back, open it up, return it back to the mark so the marks match up, and then it's going to set the speed again. The emergency pipe is higher up so that if this does get clogged, the overflow chamber fills up and then water starts to go down this pipe. The reason why that's cool is that this pipe right here starts to make a ton of noise when it gets water going down it because it is just a pipe that goes into the sump. It's guaranteed to make a lot of noise, okay? It's going to make a ton of noise, and so you're going to go, oh, my God, something is clogged. Let me go check it out. You go check it out, fix it, put it right back. No big deal. Now, the other drain type is going to be, let me remove these so I remember to get them out of here. Remove. Image file. The other type is the bean animal is what this is called. This is called the bean animal overflow. As you can see, it's a lot more parts and it's a lot more things going on here. Now, the reason why there are so many things going on here is this is essentially the infallible overflow. As you can see, it's got every single thing involved in the last two. It has a Durso drain pipe in the middle as the emergency or the secondary. This is your primary standpipe. This will be your main drain. Then you have a secondary drain. Then you have an emergency drain. I feel like this is overly redundant for me. This is generally the safest overflow in the world. I mean, I guess you could do a fourth in there if you wanted to, and it technically would be safer or whatever. But technically, this is the safest overflow design, which you have a set speed here. You have a little bit of overflow happening here, and if either of these two get clogged enough, this one will be the emergency drain. My reason for avoiding this is I don't have normally this much space in my overflow chambers. You need quite a large overflow chamber in order to get this many bulkheads in here, this many pipes in here, all that kind of stuff. So I kind of avoid it. And like I said, I put the Durso on my primary, and then I put a standpipe up. And generally, I've never had any kind of flood ever happen with that setup. Is it impossible to get a flood with that setup? No, you definitely could. You could get a flood, but I've never personally experienced it. I think one of the reasons for that is that I'm fairly hands-on when it comes to checking my tanks just to make sure everything's going fine. And everything tends to go fine when you check on stuff and do regular maintenance on things. And I have a tendency to do that. So I've never had a problem and really had a need to go to all the way to the bean animal. But even though I do bring both of those elements to my drain system, I go with the Herbie with added parts. I go with the Herbie that has a Durso in it. That's basically what I do, and I don't have the third pipe. Is my way the best? Nope. It just is a way that has worked well for me, and that almost always going to be my advice to everybody out there, is that, like, is this working good for you? Then don't change it. It's working good. There's no reason to upgrade. Upgrading it or changing it or doing any of that kind of stuff is definitely going to be sort of excessive. Like, you're just excessively fiddling with things. And I think realistically you could spend your energy on doing some other stuff. But that's how I do my drains. And the upsides, downsides, it's really up to you. Obviously, you could make the system as complex and expensive as humanly possible. I feel like the Herbie with the Durso in it is pretty expensive already, and I don't think there's really any advantage to adding that much more to it. Crazy Aquarium Guy says, I have a saltwater tank, but I run it like freshwater. It is only 78 gallon, but the sump fits more than 3 FX6 pimped ones. My best tank just changed the filter floss. Yeah, that's essentially how I run my tanks. I just change filter floss, and then change water, obviously. But that's pretty much all I do maintenance wise to my tanks. Once the media is established, I don't find a big reason to take it out and rinse it or any of that kind of crap. Changing the filter floss has always been fairly sufficient as to how I really maintenance my tanks. Obviously, cleaning the glass, trimming and replanting plants, that kind of stuff. Yeah, but I don't think it's a great time to really fiddle with filtration all the time. And you really just shouldn't. Realistically, you shouldn't be fussing with filtration all that much. It's that you're kind of you're essentially causing a detriment to yourself, like disturbing something that is biologically processing waste and stuff from your system. Noser says, first time I've actually caught a stream from the beginning in a long time. Well, hey, thanks for showing up. Happy holiday if you're having a holiday, or happy Monday or Tuesday if you're in the other time zones. Yeah. Yeah. So what time are we at? 4 o'clock. Oh my God, guys. It's 4 o'clock. How long have we been live? Oh my God, we've been gone a long time. Oh, Pond Guru style? You're adding the Pond Guru style in there. I left it out because that Pond Guru guy went on this like wild attack of this metal detecting YouTuber a long time ago, and I realized like this guy might be a little unhinged, so I just stopped having conversations with that guy. He made all these videos about this metal detecting dude that were totally not nice. If you were trying to think of the worst possible thing that you could call somebody, that's what he was doing, and it was totally unfounded and untrue, completely untrue. Just because they were arguing about metal detecting stuff, and I thought it was quite weird, and was like, yeah, I don't want to be associated with people that do that. So, yeah, I don't really try to mention that guy or mention his products or any of that stuff. So, yeah, just be, like I said, like I was saying, I don't know if his products work or not, but I got a really bad vibe when he went on that public tirade against a metal detecting dude. It was weird. It was very weird. It was a very weird situation, and was like, I got to distance myself from this person. And so I did. It's like, we're good. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Because I think I got on his radar when I was essentially complaining about Matrix being too expensive, and he was like, "Oh my God, somebody else that hates Matrix," and I was, it's like I don't own a company that makes aquarium stuff. I hope you guys understand that. Like, obviously, I work for Aquarium Co-op, and I agree with Aquarium Co-op. But if you find a better product at a better price, I know that Corey has the same stance of like, buy it there. Like, we just want the hobby to grow. That's all. That's all I want. And, one of the things that is a personal stance of mine is that, like, if I find character traits with people that are red flags, I don't want to be around them. That's how I am. And if people don't like that, it's like, okay, but when I find character flaws with people that are, let's say you had a character flaw that you didn't like chocolate. That doesn't bother me. That's an opinion, right? But if you're like, I'm going to go out and tell crazy lies about this person that could potentially get them in trouble with the police and all sorts of stuff, it's like, I don't like that, and I don't want to be around that. You know what I mean? So, and if that's to a detriment of my career or whatever, then okay, I'm willing to sleep well at night versus, trying to make money. I'm really interested in why 95% of the canister filters come in a setup totally wrong way. Why that is, you know what? I don't know. I think it's just companies wanting to make money. I like sumps because they're just the most versatile, useful way of filtration for my personality. Like, it works well. It works well. It emulates nature, which is what I'm trying to do anyhow. And I just go that way, right? Like, and I don't have anything to do with building sumps or selling sumps or any of that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm an Amazon affiliate because I share Amazon links, and it's kind of stupid to not get a commission from that. But if you find something better, just go buy that. Yeah, it doesn't bother me none. Anyhow, hour and 45 minutes in, and yeah. That's going to be it for the 4th of July stream. Big shout out to, oh my God, we got to look at our viewer activity. We got a super chat from the Fish Tank Barn, Crazy Aquarium Guy, and Crazy Aquarium Guy became a member today. Word up, dude. Thank you very much. I'm normally here on Mondays now, and I try to do Fridays if I have time. If I can get home in time to do a live stream on Friday, I will, but there really is no guarantee for that. So, but Mondays is the guarantee, but next week I am on vacation because it is summertime. So I am going to be gone next week. So the guaranteed date that I'll be back is the 18th of July. Which sounds like a really long time from now. But that's how it is. I'm going out of town for a week. It's the only thing that's got to go. So, all right, guys. Love you very much. Thank you so much for coming out today. Hopefully you stay safe out there. Don't blow any of your fingers off or burn down your neighbor's house or whatever. Make good decisions today. Yeah.